Hello and welcome back to Quick and Healthy with Mr. G. I'm Mr. G, and today we're going to make something that's so rich in omega-3s and so healthy for you. It's got a lot of fiber, very low in fat, very low in sodium, and it's just all around a family favorite. Everybody loves this dish. I'm making salmon patties. Now, salmon patties, you can either bake them or you can fry them. I may try both ways. We'll see how that goes, how time permits. What I've done different this time, though, is what you see in front of me are all the prepared ingredients. I've got some canned Alaskan salmon, fresh caught Alaskan salmon. I've got onions and red peppers that I've chopped up fairly finely. I've got about 4 cloves of garlic, maybe 5 cloves of garlic that I have pressed in my garlic press. I've got some freshly picked parsley right out of my own herb garden. And I've got a phone call. I'll be right back. Where was I? Okay, I was talking about all the ingredients, the dry ingredients. Now I've also got, there's where I was at. I was at the cracker crumb, and what I use here as well is a wheat bran cereal mixture, and these are high fiber crackers. You'll see here in the show. I've also got some Old Bay seasoning, which is a favorite of mine in a seafood dish. I've got some ground flaxseed, and I've got 1 can of Healthy Choice, or 98% fat-free and low sodium cream of celery soup. I've also got here the juice that came from the canned salmon, or a lot of the juice. Some of it's in here as well. I didn't drain it real well. So, I said I was going to do this differently. You see all the prepared ingredients, but how did they get in the state they're in now? Let me show you. Okay, we're going to prepare the cracker crumb mixture that I showed you. It's not just crackers. I've got a high fiber multigrain cracker, and I've also got a wheat bran cereal. This is all bran, and this has really no sugar in it. It's just mainly wheat bran. So what we're going to do is we place that into a small food processor. I found that this works better than the plastic bag method that you may have seen me use in other videos. So you should get this fairly fine. It doesn't need to be actually a powder, but it should be kind of fine. Okay, there's our processed cracker crumb and wheat bran mixture that I've done here in the food processor. So you can see that it made a very minimal mess, just a little bit of powder, easy cleanup. I use a standard coffee bean grinder to grind my flaxseed, and I didn't really want to keep that running as long as it took to grind that for the video, so it's kind of already been ground, and that's what it looks like when it's ground. Okay, I'm now going to process 1 red pepper and about 1/2 an onion. I had used this onion yesterday for some cooking, and I've got this much left over. Now, I want to make the onion into very small pieces, so I'm going to cut it in the spiral of it, or actually in rings like this, and then I'm going to just take the knife until I make real small squares out of the onion like this. And you want these to be fairly small. You want to end up looking something like that for your onion. You're going to want to take and do the same thing with the pepper. You want small pieces of pepper, so you're going to start with very narrow strips, like I've got here, and then you're going to want to just take and cut that into small pieces like this. You don't want great big chunks, because this is a patty that we're making. The salmon patties, you don't want giant chunks of vegetables, infused in them. You want smaller pieces if possible. And those are plenty large, and those will work out just fine. Okay, I'm going to prepare the garlic now. I'm going to press our garlic, our own garlic, and I've got a garlic press here. Basically, you put a clove of garlic inside the press like that, and you push down, and it will come out the holes at the bottom here. Now, let me show you first what I need to do. Is I take the garlic and I cut the hard end from the garlic, just the very end of it. And then I take the other side of the garlic and I cut the long piece off. Now, you can also then split the skin of the garlic if you want to, and just peel it like this. You're going to see juice and pretty much everything come out of there. It takes quite a bit of pressure to get it going, and I've got 3 cloves of garlic in there. Then you can take your knife and simply cut the garlic, or just scrape it from the bottom of the press here. Okay, there we can see the processed garlic that came out of the garlic press up close. Now, if you don't have a garlic press, you can simply mince the garlic up small with your knife. Okay, now for one of the main ingredients of today's dinner, the salmon patties. I'm going to take wild Alaskan pink salmon in a can, and I'm going to drain this. I've already opened the cans. I'm going to go ahead and drain these cans, and I'm going to save the juice. They don't have to be completely drained so they're dry, but you want to drain them fairly well. And then we're going to pour that into a large bowl like this. Now, I'm going to process just this one can, but I'm going to actually use 3 cans for the entire meal. You want to take apart the salmon, looking for the large spine. Now, these are bones. You can put them right back in the can then. These are bones that are like the spine of the fish, and if you peel it apart, you're going to get something that looks like that. Now, you'll notice that there's this one large spine here that I can get out almost all at once. This is a very messy job. It requires you to use your hands. You can use gloves if you want. And there I've got the spine out completely on that one. Now, some people do leave the spine in and crush it up. However, I've run into problems doing that. Now, you've got some skin on the outside of the salmon here. You can keep that or you can throw that away as well. I take off most of the skin. You don't have to get all of the skin off. And now you'll see also these small bones that are in salmon that look something like those. It's okay to leave those small bones in there. Those will just grind right on up and cook up. So I'm going to go ahead and finish processing these other 2 cans of salmon. Okay, wasn't that a lot of fun? Now that you've seen how I've prepared all the ingredients, we're going to go ahead and put them to good use. I've got my salmon already in a large bowl here. I've got a large slotted spoon, and I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to dump in the onions, the peppers, and the garlic into the salmon here. There we go. That's all in there. That was 1 pepper again and about 1/2 of an onion. Now I'm going to take some of my crumb mixture and I'm going to go ahead and put some of that on there. Probably not all of it at this time, maybe about 2/3 of it. I'm going to take my flaxseed and I'm going to put in about, if I had to guess, I'd say about 1/3 to 1/2 a cup of flaxseed at this point. Then I'm going to take my Healthy Request cream of celery soup. And I'm going to go ahead and dump that right on top of all of those ingredients, just like this. Now, I may not use quite the whole can, so I'm going to leave some in there. I don't care that it's not completely cleaned out. At this point, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to break up my herb, which is parsley. Doesn't have to be real fine, just in chunks, just the leaves and so forth. And now, I'm going to start to stir this up a little bit. Now, you're saying, wow, that's awful dry. Yeah, you're right. That's real dry to start with. Now, there's one ingredient that I don't have out yet. It's in my refrigerator. You can use 1 egg, maybe 2, but I'm actually going to use an egg white mixture, which is comes in a carton, so it's just egg whites. It'll make it a little healthier. These are really going to be pretty when they're done as well. Now, I'm going to go ahead and get that egg white mixture out of the refrigerator here. And I'm going to pour this. This is just liquid eggs is basically all it is. I'm just going to pour that until I've got enough moisture in this. But in order to add more moisture to this at this point, what I'm planning on doing is using some of the juice that came from the salmon itself. So I'm going to go ahead and pour a little bit of that in there because this is still a little too dry. Now, what happens if I make it too wet or too moist and you're like, wow, it's just almost like, like pancake batter or something like that. If it gets too moist, basically all you need to do is add some more of your dry ingredients, which is why I saved some flaxseed ground up and my bread and cracker crumbs. So, here we go. Get this mixed up real good. And make sure your hands are very clean, washed very well. And once you have this totally mixed up real well, you're going to end up with something that can be made into a patty shape. Now, this is still possibly just a little bit too dry. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go ahead and add just a little bit more of the juice. Okay, there's what the final salmon mixture looks like. And it's about, you can see what consistency that is. It's not real thick and it's not real thin either. It's just a decent consistency for making patties. Now, I'm going to take this and use your bare hands and I'm going to form it into patties. With the main course tonight, I'm also going to make some cauliflower and cheese sauce. Now, I'm just going to tell you how I'm making that. The cauliflower, I'm just cutting the florets up and cleaning them and washing them good. And then I'm going to microwave those in a microwave-safe bowl. And then, for the cheese sauce, I'm just going to use low-fat or 2% Velveeta cheese. and I'm just going to melt that with some milk, some skim milk in the microwave oven. That's all it takes to make cheese sauce. Okay, the final step here is I'm going to sprinkle some Old Bay seasoning on top of our patties here. You don't need too much, and I'll season those a little bit while they're cooking as well. Now, these are going to be baked, these particular salmon patties, and there's what they look like when they're complete. Aren't those beautiful? Now, to bake these, all you need to do is take a flat cookie sheet, coat it with some tin foil, and then spray that with a low-fat cooking spray, or coat it with olive oil or grapeseed oil. I'm going to spray mine with grapeseed oil. Then we're going to throw those into an oven that's at 400 degrees. Actually, I'm going to use 375 degrees because I'm using convection bake. And if you have a convection oven, it'll probably work out better for you because they'll brown more evenly. Now, I want to put those in there for about 15 minutes, and then I'm going to take them out and see if they'll come off of the tin foil easily. If they do, I'll turn them, and they should be brown slightly on the bottom. When I turn them, put them back in for about another 5 to 10 minutes. Total cooking time about 20 to 30 minutes total. I'll have to judge as seeing how brown they get. You want them to get nice and golden brown. The ones that you're going to actually see me cook will be ones that I'm going to fry in a frying pan or in an electric skillet. Now, the electric skillet that I use to fry these, I'm not going to put a ton of grease or oil in it. I'm going to spray it lightly with grapeseed oil, and we're going to cook these kind of like you would cook a pancake. So there's the ones just ready to be placed into the oven. My grapeseed oil spray here, and my electric skillet's at about 250 degrees. So I'm going to go ahead and take these patties, I've got them sitting over here, and I'm going to drop them in my skillet, in a hot skillet like that. And like I said, they're going to fry up sort of like pancakes. Believe it or not, this entire recipe made 20 salmon patties. That's with 3 cans of salmon. I would say, well, I told you earlier how much of the dry ingredients, of all the dry ingredients, and we're going to let these fry up here a little bit, and I'm going to turn my frying pan down just a little bit, about 225 to 250. Let's let these things cook. How long do you cook these? Well, you just want to cook them till each side is very nice and browned. They should be nice and firm and brown. The ones in the oven, same thing. You can also serve these with a low-fat tartar sauce, but I prefer like a seafood sauce. And basically the way that I make that is I use ketchup, equal parts of ketchup, low-fat or fat-free mayonnaise, and horseradish. Now, not equal parts of horseradish, about a tablespoon of horseradish to, I don't know, probably about a half a cup of the mayonnaise and ketchup, and I whip that up real good. It makes a delicious seafood sauce. Okay, I just turned these for the first time in the frying pan, and I wanted you to take a look at how those look when they're browned. You should be nice and golden brown like that, and now we're going to let those bake up on the other side real good. And I'll probably turn them one more time and get this side just a little darker. Dinner is served. I've got my cauliflower and cheese sauce. There is a fried salmon patty and a baked salmon patty, and here I've got a nice garnish. I hope you enjoyed today's show, and I'll see you next time right here on Quick and Healthy with Mr. G.